All right, I want to bring into this conversation our Jackie Alemany. She is a White House reporter for CBS News who was there during the announcement. Jackie, are you with us?
Hey, Elaine. How are you guys?
Well, so tell us what it is that led up to this moment and what we just heard, or rather, as we've been calling it, stunning announcement tonight.
Right. This was really an extraordinary and unprecedented series of events that we just witnessed here today at the White House. As you just saw, the national security advisor from South Korea came out to the White House stakeout and made an impromptu announcement to White House reporters that North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un was willing to denuclearize, stop his long-range missile testing, and extended an unprecedented invitation to President Donald Trump to come and meet with him face-to-face in Pyongyang. And President Trump himself has agreed to come and meet with the North Korean dictator before May. So this was a stunning series of events. At 5 p.m., the president himself appeared in the White House briefing room, popped his head in for the first time ever, and told reporters that there would be a huge announcement at 7 p.m., and you just saw that announcement.
And Jackie, I wonder, was there any kind of heads up besides the president coming into the briefing room? Because the message of the day up until this point had been thought to have been, at least the White House's message of the day was perceived to have been about tariffs. The president making that announcement about tariffs, surrounding himself with steel workers. Was there any inkling that this was perhaps in the works?
Well, this has been on the back burner all week. The South Korean envoy went to Pyongyang earlier in the week, and there was news that came out of it that the North Koreans had expressed a willingness to come to the table and speak with the United States to discuss denuclearization. But the president himself took a more measured tone than he's ever taken before, far different than his rocket man rhetoric, and said that the U.S. was approaching these talks very delicately with guarded optimism. We had numerous White House background briefings throughout the week that, North Korea has a 27-year history that's given the U.S. the right to be skeptical of the North Koreans and the promises they've made, which is telling during negotiations, making certain promises, but then under the radar back at home, actually continuing to develop their nuclear program. But we knew that the South Korean envoys had arrived in D.C. today and were briefing the U.S. on the deliberations that they had in Pyongyang. But I think that everyone was fairly shocked today to hear that that Kim Jong Un had extended an invitation directly to the president and that the president had accepted that invitation.
And Jackie, was it revealing at all to you that the South Korean national security advisor, at the outset of his comments, when he went through the list of people he was thanking, he said, "My close friend, General McMaster," referring to President Trump's national security advisor? What does that suggest?
Well, General McMaster has been notably hawkish on the issue of North Korea. But at the same time, it's something that him and the president have really been aligned on, which has been unusual from other foreign policy issues where they have directly clashed. But you also notice that the national security advisor thanked the president himself profusely. And we had a feeling that the president was very excited about this announcement. He popped into the White House briefing room to tease it himself, which was honestly one of probably the most extraordinary thing of the night. We thought the president would never show his face in the briefing room, but you could tell that he himself was very excited, potentially because of this praise that he knew was coming his way for these, taking credit for these talks progressing farther than they ever have in U.S. history.
And Jackie, what should we make of the fact that the president chose to sort of tease this and not make the announcement himself? And we saw Sarah Huckabee Sanders in the background there, not appearing with the South Korean national security advisor, to have this happening not in the briefing room, not within the actual confines of the West Wing, but out on the driveway there.
Yes, it definitely was a chaotic scene. I think White House officials themselves didn't even know that this was coming. People were fairly shocked when White House staffers were shocked when they found out that the president popped in and teased the announcement himself. One White House official texted me 2 words, "a doozy." And this is fairly regular, operating procedure with this White House. Things are very chaotic. I'm not sure that anyone could have anticipated that something like this would happen tonight, but I will say it was executed flawlessly. The White House told us that they will respond themselves tomorrow morning in the briefing room, so I think we can be expecting something from Sarah Huckabee Sanders herself, potentially even a statement from the president tomorrow. We're not quite sure yet. We don't have any guidance on that, except for that the White House will have their own response tomorrow morning. But I think, after the president teased this himself, they had to get something out there, and the South Koreans are willing to come out themselves.
All right, CBS News White House reporter Jackie Alemany. Thank you so much, Jackie. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Elaine.